If you're listening on podcast, be sure to tune in to our YouTube channel on YouTube at Wild and Weird WV.
Welcome to Wild and Weird Radio, a Wild and Weird West Virginia podcast.
This episode was taped live this past Thursday with special guest Jeff Wamsley as he joined us to discuss Mothman, the Mothman Festival, and Point Pleasant. Greetings, and good evening, everyone. This is Ron, and that is Brandon over there on the second mic. And let's kick things off. Hello. Welcome to Wild and Weird Radio Live. This is another exciting, and I do mean exciting episode. I know we say that a lot, but it really is an exciting episode. We have a very special mystery guest that will be popping in here at some point. And you guys get ready for your questions, because you're not gonna miss this. I'm telling you, you will not want to miss this, right, Brandon?
Oh yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, it's gonna be absolutely awesome, awesome good time. Hey guys, welcome, Emily. How you doing? I'm going to scroll our things here. Let me find them. Banners down here. You guys go ahead and get this shared out. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's get that out there to as many people, especially anyone you know who was at the Mothman Festival or who likes the Mothman. Trust me, this is the one. Hey, Fish, welcome. All right. Let me do our thing here. The show is brought to you by our super chatters. Without you guys, we just couldn't continue to do these things. Adam Good, Theresa of Theresa's Haunted History of the Tri-State, Dewey Edwards, James Boggs, Spooky Appalachia, Larry Hose, Guitars and Chains, Craig, Travis Aurednik, Geoffery Steele, Russ Bailey, Chris Coots, Ada Cox, Nancy White, Scott Holbrook. Guys, thank you so much for your generous donations and for being here and helping out with the show and whatnot. We are sad, however, to learn that one of our sponsors has backed out. I want to address this because it's important, and I think we need to clear up some things, especially if we get more new people coming in. As we grow, we're going to get people who don't quite understand things the way that they go around here, because we're not like every other board. We care when our members leave. They are members. They are family to us. If you were at Flatwoods Monster Convention, you know that it was more like a family reunion. So it bothers us when these things happen. But he noted something like that he was basically derogatory terms were used against him, whatnot. I actually went back for 2 hours scrubbing the video, and I couldn't find it. So I don't know if it was in the comment section. Here's the thing. I don't care if it's in the comment section, guys. You're free to your own, you got freedom of speech. But here's the thing. We don't have to read things that may be disruptive. And we won't read things that will be disruptive, just to let you know. Right? I mean, there are terms of services that we have to adhere to as far as it goes with our YouTube. And it's also, we don't want to be a part of that divisionary tactic. It's just not cool. There's enough division in the world. We're here to have fun. We're here to talk about cryptids. We're here to talk about these crazy, wonderful, spooky things and do it for a couple of hours on a Thursday while, you got all day to worry about stuff and it's just a place to come and rest and relax and laugh and have some fun. I don't think anyone means anything. Obviously, outright attacks will not be tolerated. You will be removed immediately. But if you have an opinion, feel free to speak it. We want to hear it. But, I think it was just a hot topic issue. And there are people who are, they're for it and they're against it. And that's all there is to it. But we always advise everyone, please, if you have something, we're open. We'll listen to you. If you've got proof of anything, of any conspiracy theory, whatever you want to talk about, if you got proof, put it on the table. I want to see it. But yeah, you got to back it up. Back it up with your sources. And so far to date, I've asked people to do this on many things, guys, and I have not gotten anything that can be verified or backed up. And I don't mean just on this one topic. There's multiple topics. It just doesn't happen. So belief systems, I think we've said that before. They're an issue. You got to put them aside, especially if you're going to talk to people and have fun. I think one of the cool things about powwows is they usually don't have any, no politics, I can't remember the rules, but I know there's no politics. I think it's no religious discussions or something. I can't remember how it goes, but basically what it is these little rules they're not really rules as much as they're just guidelines for having fun, because, we're not going to go one way or the other on certain issues. It's just
So is it like the old dinner rules? No politics, no religion, no sports.
That's it. That's kind of like that. Yeah, beliefs are just beliefs. Thanks, Adam. That's exactly
Yep.
right, brother. Exactly. And we're not trying to make anyone believe anything. I mean, that's the whole point. Like I said, we show the data. If it's right, it's wonderful. If you want to challenge it, feel free to challenge it. Show us, but show it, back it up. That being said, let's say we have some fun. All right, you got it. Yes, the obligatory pose that Brandon takes every time the Scat Daddy appears. Brandon, do you get more power when you do that? I'm just wondering, because you do it every time. You do?
Runs right through me. Oh.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just wondering, because I haven't tried that yet, and it kind of makes me wonder. Hey, how many of you guys are new out there? I want to see if we got any of our new folks out there. You guys out there in Facebook land, be sure to click the little you agree to let Facebook use your name. It doesn't mean they're going to go post fake news about you. It just means that it and StreamYard can't talk to each other and tell us your name unless you give it permission to do that. That's all that is. I wish it was more of a conspiracy than that, but it's not. I'm new. Okay. All right, you're new. Sure. There you go. That's new.
Hey,
Hannah.
everyone.
Hannah is weird. That is just an incredible name, and it works. This is wonderful.
Fits right in.
Adelaide. Me, I'm new. All right. Mabel. Okay. I thought that was you guys. Yep. So we have Dipper and Mabel in the house. Yes, you heard me correct. We actually do have Dipper and Mabel in the house. I told you it was going to be an amazing show, but that's not the special guests. It's not the special guests. But yeah, these two right here, I'm just going to pop these up real quick, because you guys know we just came off of, I thought that was you. We just came off of the festival, the Mothman Festival, and oh my God. If you haven't seen the videos, well, they're out there. You can go watch them. But we got a few little clips for you and whatnot. But the whole thing tonight, Brandon, is we're going to be talking about the Mothman. Why? How did it bloom into this, explode into this massive phenomena that it is? This little legend. How did it grow to this proportion? And that's what we'll be talking about all night. But let me find a picture. I got a picture of Dipper and Mabel over here. This is great. This is great. These two literally made my day. And this was amazing. I told you, man, that's amazing, is it not?
Right,
give it up for these two. These guys nailed it. Yeah, that's yeah. There you go. There you go. You guys absolutely did it. But literally, I can't tell you. We had so much fun because it was this first Mothman Festival that Mothy got to come out, and that has been in development for years now. We actually started developing that a few Halloweens back, and that got canceled. It was a thing we were supposed to do, and it got canceled. So basically, it was just a little photo shoot down in the front yard. It was too hot to even wear, really. But I drug it out last Halloween, and me and our friend went down to Point Pleasant, of all places, on trick or treat night, and we shot a little bit there, and we hit with it, and it was just so so hot you couldn't keep it on. But then Maria found another alternate costume for the wings, and they fit. It was like it was made for it, and so it was just a big hit. But guys, if you were at the festival, I want to see you. Like, tell us right now, because yeah, we've got some stuff for you tonight. We're going to be talking about the legend, and we're going to be talking about the phenomena that is Mothman and Mothman Festival. Okay, and I couldn't think of anyone that could be better suited to give you guys that information, because we're all about the data, right? We're going to put all the data on the table. So I can go and quote some things that I can read on Wikipedia or read out of a book, but honestly, the only book I've got are a couple of these ones from Jeff about the moth. And I advise you to get those. If you are interested in the Mothman, the whole phenomenon, get those books.
Oh,
But
yeah.
you know what? I think Brandon. I think it would be best just to turn it over to our special guest at this time. What do you think?
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think so too. So everyone, please welcome to Wild and Weird Radio. I believe for the first time, a legend in his own right, honest to goodness, and a very, very good friend, Mr. Jeff Wamsley.
Hey, how's it going?
Sir, it is an absolute blast having you on the show.
I appreciate you inviting me to come along.
I couldn't think of anyone better, man. And I know how busy you are. Oh my goodness, do I know how busy you are? But
Anything for you.
man, seriously, we appreciate it. Jeff,
Mhm.
you did such a great job back at Well and Weird Con, the first one, telling the little intro about the encounter,
Mhm.
the actual first encounter. For those who don't know, you want to go over just a little short bit of that, as far as the legend goes itself, how this all kind of started?
Well, the Mothman story started, at least here in Point Pleasant, back in November of 1966, November 15th, 1966. You had two young couples, Steve and Mary Mallett and Roger and Linda Scarberry. Roger and Linda were actually my neighbors. Even though I was only 5 years old, they lived on our street, and that's how I kind of got a few inside lines on some of the things we have in the museum and interviews and things like that. But they were up in the TNT area, which is about 9 miles north of downtown Point Pleasant. Linda told me they were up there drag racing. Roger had an old 57 Chevy Bel Air that was sort of a project car that he had worked on for years and stuff. And they were up there, just riding around about 11 o'clock at night. For those that don't know what the TNT area was, that during World War II was an ammunitions depot where they manufactured explosives for World War II. When the war ended, the government just left everything there, and it's still today a place where a lot of people will go, just kind of get away from downtown and Lover's Lane type stuff like that. But they were up there about 11 o'clock. It's a Tuesday evening. They're getting ready to come back into town. And Linda said they were coming down the little road there beside what they called the North Power Plant. And it was a vacant 3-story generator plant that was used during World War II. And she thought, she said, what's that guy standing in the road? As they got closer to it, she said that the headlights of the car hit the eyes of whatever this thing was. And she said they lit up red, and she saw the wings come out. Said it was shaped like a man, head was sunken down into the shoulders a little bit. I asked her what the wingspan was. She said probably 10 to 12 feet wingspan as they came out.
Mm-hmm.
And then it went towards the North Power Plant. So I specifically asked her if it flew. She said no, it was very awkward and hobbled through the grass into the North Power Plant. And at that point, they decided they would go back into town and let some of their friends know what was going on. When they got out to Route 62 and took a left, she said, I saw it again standing beside the billboard beside the highway. She said it was almost like it knew we were coming that way. Said the wings went out, shot straight up in the air. They hit Route 62, and that's when it came over top of their car, off and on, intermittently, down Route 62. That's about a 3-mile stretch down through there. I asked her if it got in front of the car, and she said no, it stayed over the car. It would go away, it would come back again, go away, come back again. And she said it was effortless as far as trying to keep up with the car. I asked her how big the wingspan was, if she could see over top the car. She said the wings were so big when it flapped its wings, she could hear the bottom of the car door, the wings hitting the bottom of the car door. Now, that was an exact quote from her, talking about how big that wingspan was. Once they got back into town, the lights of the town and the city, it veered off left into a cornfield. They stopped at Tiny's Drive-In and talked to the man named Gary Northup, who was the owner of Tiny's Drive-In, was sort of like what Sonic is today. They come out and wait on your car and things like that. But that's where all the kids hung out. I've actually talked to a lot of people that were there in that parking lot that night when they came in to let Gary Northup know. As a matter of fact, I met Gary Northup for the first time about 3 weeks ago, even though he was in Point Pleasant all those years. He lives near Columbus now, and I was able to talk to him a few minutes at a family reunion that they were having locally. And, I asked him point blank, I said, you think they were making that story up? And he said, absolutely not. He said, I'm the one that called the police because they didn't even want to get out of the car. That's what he told me. So that was the beginning of everything here in Point Pleasant. Within the next 2 years, you had over 100 reported sightings. I always guesstimate probably another 200 or 300 that didn't report it because they were afraid of being called nuts and crazy and everything else. I have people come up to me in the museum now, elderly people, that have lived here all their lives, and they'll tell me, they say, we saw that thing, but we didn't want to tell anybody. So who knows? It was a lot of people seeing a lot of weird stuff, a lot of UFO activity, strange lights in the sky.
That's one of the things, Jeff. There was a massive UFO wave that took
Mm-hmm.
place.
Oh yeah,
right prior and during, as I recall.
Yeah. There was a lot of UFO activity before the Mothman sighting started, and even during. Gary Northup even told me a few weeks ago. He said they would go to the TNT area every evening and sit and watch those lights appear and then just disappear with no sound at all.
Wow,
it was just a common thing. So. But that was the beginning of it here in Point Pleasant. Gallipolis across the river, there were sightings. Cheshire, Ohio, which is directly across from the TNT area. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just 3 or 4 people that were seeing this thing. A lot of theories as to what it was. Some people thought it was just an enormous bird, a sandhill crane. A lot of different theories and stuff.
Oh yeah, the Sandhill crane is a great one. Wasn't there one of the witnesses who actually said that there was an issue with their eyes, right? Like some kind of conjunctivitis that.
There was one lady in particular whose eyes were, red. Mm-hmm. Now I don't know if that was because they were so upset and traumatized or whatever. The movie really pushed that a lot too.
Yeah, of course.
But I think it did happen a few times.
Yeah. But, I find that amazing, that we can, it's easy to write off something, isn't it? Hey, Nancy, it's easy to write off something when you weren't there.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. And, and it wasn't, like I said, just the 2 couples. There were elderly people, prominent business people. If it would have been 2 or 3 people, we probably would not be sitting here right now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think it's the validity of there was so many people seeing stuff that,
it just pushed it over the top. You had you had I believe there were police officers, there were firefighters who had seen it. There was professionals who had seen it, like you said. And I think everybody in the town at the time probably knew somebody who had seen this thing. That's how rampant it was.
Yeah, like I said, I talk to people all the time that, talk about that and everything. So, and some people tell me, they say, hey, it was the biggest bird I ever seen in my life.
Right.
One guy told me he was up there hunting in the TNT area a few days after Linda and the rest of them encountered whatever it was. And he told me, he said it flew right over top of him. But he said it to him. It looked like a prehistoric bird, like a pterodactyl, just went right over top of him.
Well, there's, we've heard Stan talk about that. Stan
Yeah.
Gordon has talked multiple times about these, the giant birds, the almost, well, pterodactyl, like you said.
Right.
And Larry hosts there with the, with the moth see. Yeah, that was a hit. I had no idea. I tell you what, though, Jeff, it's an amazing legend. We always talk about it. It's one of those things that's it's very personal to me. I love this legend. It was it's probably one of my favorite, right up there with the Woody Derenberger thing. I think that's another one that doesn't get enough airplay. But
Right.
Mothman, dude, it went everywhere. Like it
Yeah.
literally exploded.
Yeah, it's been in the past 10 years. I mean, it's a part of pop culture now. I mean,
Yeah.
it's everywhere, and I don't think those people back in 1966 would have dreamed that it would have
They would have no idea.
got as much attention, as it has now. I mean, it's
Yeah, I mean,
a worldwide thing.
worldwide. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like this is a worldwide phenomenon at this point.
And Point Pleasant is like ground zero.
Yes, yes, and and we, you hear a lot of people saying, well, Fallout kind of helped do that. Yeah, they
It
did.
did.
They did.
Yeah, it
They
did. I mean, no doubt about that.
pushed
I
it
mean,
over
I
the
think
top.
people come in that, played the game, but they'd never been to Point Pleasant. So, I mean, that's a good calling card too.
I mean, I played the game with people, from other states, and they had no idea that this place was real.
Right.
I'm like, well, yeah, it's real. We there's a festival. We go every year. It's real, And I've told you before. Some of these people will probably have no idea, but I was at the very first festival. That was the funny thing, and I remember how small it was.
Yeah.
And then it just kept getting bigger and bigger. And I
That's
went
one
for
we
the
had
first.
inside.
Yeah,
We had it inside of the Heilig Myers.
yeah.
That was in November. We had that November 15th.
I remember being cold, as I remember.
Yeah.
That's why.
And the following year's the one where John Keel came. That was 2003, I think.
Yep.
We had to have it inside because there was a hurricane. I can't remember which one it was or anything, but we had it, and that was the one that John Keel came to.
Yeah.
And he literally sat for 8 to 9 hours, and all he did was sign books. That's all he did.
Oh my God.
And we didn't really publicize that a whole lot, but people knew who he was. I mean,
Well, yeah.
I used to ask him, I'd come up with some cool questions, and I asked him, I said, do you get recognized a lot? He lived in Manhattan and stuff.
Yeah.
I said, do you get recognized a lot there? And he said, no, but he said, everywhere else I do. Not in New York, but he said, I'll be in a restaurant in Iowa, and somebody will walk up to him. Because in New York, they don't care.
Oh my gosh.
It's a normal thing for them,
That's too funny.
Yeah.
But it's just an amazing phenomena, and and to see this festival grow, and every year we just see more and more people come to this.
Yeah, we're busting at the seams there, pretty much.
Yeah, it's magical. It really is.
Yeah, it is. I watched the crowd. I watched
Yeah.
the people and stuff, and we watched the YouTube videos after the festival,
It's
and
amazing.
everybody's smiling. Everybody's having a good time. They're
What you
talking.
said. What you said. Almost every photo you take at that festival, people
Yeah.
are smiling. If they're not smiling, they're caught in the middle of the crowd saying, I don't know where to go. But they end
Yeah.
up smiling because, I mean, everybody who came to our tent, man, they were happy.
Yeah.
They were having a blast. And that's what you
And
want.
that's the main thing,
Yeah.
Everybody, they feel comfortable, there.
Yeah.
You see some weird costumes and all that kind of stuff, but
Yep.
even the law enforcement always tell me, they say, we can't believe that many people come, and we have no problems out of anybody.
It's
You
one
know?
of the, I'm telling you, it is one of the friendliest places. It's
Mhm.
one of the biggest events with the friendliest. I don't even know how to explain it. I really is. It's magical because
Yeah.
you don't get 20 some thousand people
No,
and them not have an issue. I'm telling you, folks, if you've never been, and we have talked to so many, it was their first time. I wore that costume for hours and hours, and I bet you I talked to hundreds of people. And do you know, out of those hundreds of people, there's probably only about 5 who said that they were They were from there. They had been to the festival.
Yeah.
The rest of them, it was their first time. That was on
Yeah,
Saturday.
we always ask people, if it's their first time, and a
amazing.
lot of them, raise their hand at the guest speaker
Yep.
forum, different things like that. And but for a lot of people, it's like a family reunion
That's exactly what we used to
every year. I mean, they look forward to going back and seeing people that they wouldn't normally see somewhere else, and they, people network.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And when we first started that festival, back whenever, I mean, we never thought that it would, turn into something so big.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just taking a life of its own. It's almost like, well, we've talked about it before, how some of these cryptids, they're kind of created from we've been calling it our weird family reunion for years.
Oh, yeah.
That's Joe. Yeah, you're right, Joe. We have. Joe can't be with us. He's babysitting here tonight, and
Oh, okay.
he has his wife's down, so she's got a cold, and he's kind of trying to get her back up. But he's off on the sidelines helping to moderate, because I cannot do it all.
Right.
So he's here. He can hear you. So just to let you know. But yeah, it is. It's like a big family reunion for us, and we look forward to it every year. I can't even tell you. It's amazing to get ready for it. Brandy, what do you got? Can you believe I've not yet been to the festival, despite having good friends, co-workers from near there. Something always happens. This year I had emergency hip replacement surgery. Well, next year you won't. Next year you're coming, and then you're locked in, because that's the other thing I had talked to people about. It was like, well, I always said, I think my phrase this year was, "You're coming back, right?" And you're like, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, yeah, welcome to the family." And it is. It's a big family, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's a massive
20,000
family.
people. Yeah.
It's incredible. We were joking. We said it's almost like a Grateful Dead concert without the music.
Yeah.
So.
Debauchery. Yeah.
But yeah, it is absolutely amazing.
I see people that's been coming there like you, since the beginning.
Yeah.
They're there every year.
Yeah, it's just incredible. And to be a part of it, it's magical to me. Like I said, it's quite. You got people who are like, well, they want to be vendors. Obviously, that's cool. I mean, once you're a vendor, it's wonderful. But it's beyond that for us.
Yeah.
Like, this is actually a place to go, and you want to be there. You want to meet those people, and you want to bring more people in.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have a hard time too, because the vendors, we have a lot of people wanting to be vendors, but
you've only got so much
most
space.
of the vendors want to come back, which we have to respect that.
Yeah.
We'll take on a few new vendors each year and stuff, but we've had very few vendors not return. I mean, some of them got out of the business, some of the food vendors during COVID and everything, they just didn't go back into the food business and stuff. But as far as the merchandise vendors, they do really well, and people know where they're at. We try to keep about the same roadmap with everything, where everybody's at and stuff, and it makes it easier on us for somebody to come in each year and say, hey, we know where we're at, we know the drill.
Yeah.
But we do try to take a few new vendors from time to time.
Yeah. Well, when you have a list
that at us,
there's nothing you can do about it, though. That's
we can only accommodate so many vendors and make sure that they are
absolutely. And people may not know this, but you don't own the whole street. They only give you X amount of space to work with.
We try to keep it in the 3 blocks. Now, that one year we tried the 4th block, but that was open to traffic, and it was just too big of a risk. People driving up and down the street, they get a little frustrated and antsy, and we don't want somebody to mow down about 3 vendor tents, So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, it's just a great. And for the folks who don't also know, if you haven't been to the museum, go to the museum.
The museum's open year round.
Yeah, it's open year round.
We had a lot of people come in the past few days after the festival that stayed over, because the lines were long, and I would like to thank everybody that stood in line out there like that.
Weren't they amazing?
Yeah, and I would walk back there and see that line going clear to the road, and I thought, you know what, I wouldn't stand in line that long.
I know.
Yeah, but we appreciate it,
Jeff, they
and
were out
everybody was
there.
cool about it,
Man, they were out there in the rain. It was
Yeah,
Mhm.
raining when I was out there filming, and they were happy. They were excited.
yeah,
They were laughing, and it was
yeah.
like, that's,
That is what's cool about it, is everybody's really patient, and they get in, but we are open year round, except for major holidays and
yeah,
stuff like that. So.
yeah. So, what else is going to be happening down that way, Jeff? You always got, an ace up your sleeve. So, what can
Well,
you
we
talk
got
about?
several aces up our sleeve.
Well, one you can talk about. Let's put it
Yeah,
there.
well, we've been working on the Mothman escape room for about
Mm-hmm.
3 years. We've got to get the heating and cooling situated
Oh, I
up
can't
there.
wait. That's,
The thing
I
that
mean,
kind of threw us back on that was some of the technical aspects of an escape room, um, which we weren't prepared for. The script is written. Joey Medea is wrote the script for the escape room. It's actually 3 rooms. It's not just one room.
yeah.
But I don't want to give too much away or
Yeah, that's
anything.
usually how these things work. That's what people
Yeah,
always think too. And I used to think that until we
yeah.
did an escape room. I did my first escape room last year, and oh my God, it was
Mhm.
so much fun. I cannot wait to try this one.
Well,
But
this one's been pretty well thought out, um, and it is a Mothman, experience. The Men in Black, Mary Hire, the newspaper reporter, all that kind of stuff is tied into it. We're hoping to have that done, before the end of the year, and then we'll have to, train some game masters and all that kind of stuff.
oh yeah,
The other big project too that is getting ready. We've already got the carpet down, but we have the museum, and then right beside the museum is the trading company. But above the trading company, which years ago was a department store, so we had plenty of room upstairs, and but we're putting in a 9-hole blacklight mini golf, and it's all Mothman themed. Uh,
Oh,
CGI effects, lighting, sound, 9 holes, family oriented and things like that. So we have a company coming in called Blacklight Attractions. They're out of St. Louis. They've done Dollywood, Disney World. They work all over the
oh
world and
wow,
stuff. And they're really excited about the project, because when I first talked to the guy, the owner, Larry, uh, and told him, he was like, "What's Mothman?" I was like, I said, "Well, you got a couple teenage sons." I said, "You need to ask them." And then he came back to me a couple days later. And he goes, "Okay, I know what you're talking about." So they're pretty excited about coming, and they prefab everything there in St. Louis. They have artists and airbrush designers and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be pretty cool. I've already seen a few of the props
oh my
that he
gosh.
sent me pictures of and stuff. And I think once we get that rolling, it'll be an extra thing for people to check out when they come to Point Pleasant.
Oh, I cannot wait. That's going to be amazing.
Yeah,
First
a
of all,
lot of
I
people.
love mini golf, so
Yeah, mhm.
that's and it's not far away. You know, I
Right,
mean,
and
this.
it'll be something cool for the local people too.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I mean, it'll give them something to come and families and things like that. So
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure we'll be there a few times. That's what I'm saying. You're just trying to get me to move to Point Pleasant. I know what you're doing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's
Mm-hmm.
what I told you earlier. I mean,
Yeah. I know. I know.
Steve Ward did, so you can.
Steve Ward did, so I can.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
we
Steve.
always told him, in years past, he would be there all year long. I said, why don't you just move here? I'll give you a job at the museum, and you can be a host and a tour guide. And that's what he does. He's retired, but he said it's the best job he's ever had. I mean, he loves it. I mean,
Oh
people
yeah.
love him. He goes out to the statue and takes people's pictures all day, and he loves talking about John Keel and all the Mothman stuff. So it's perfect job for him.
Dude,
You
you
know.
won't find anybody who knows the Keelisms
Oh yeah,
better
yeah.
than Ward. He knows Keel. I mean, it's good. He hasn't
Yeah.
been on his show yet. I've got to get him on, but
Oh, okay. I'll have to
yeah,
talk to him.
yeah, yeah. We've been trying to get him on. I want to get him on to one, but I'll tell you, man, what you got going on down there, Jeff. Everybody might want to do it, but I know for a fact of watching you, I've been down there. It's a
Mhm.
lot of work.
It is, yeah. Well, I retired from teaching this past year. I taught graphic design and I just decided, I just need to be downtown. And, we got the golf and the escape room, the trading company, the Bunker 304 store, and the museum. And that's a lot to have on your plate when you're in a classroom all day long, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. And
but I have a lot of help. I have a lot of good help.
Oh yeah. I mean, people would bend over backwards to come be a part of that. I mean, there's no question. It's a legend in the state. But you just skipped over one little part there. The Bunker. Why don't you talk a little? Yeah, talk a little bit about Bunker 304, because I went in for the first time there a couple years ago, and I was blown away. I mean, it's awesome.
Well, Bunker 304, back in the day, I used to own a chain of record stores called Criminal Records. Price is so low, it's a crime. And, I did that for about 20 years, and then Napster came along, and the online downloads and all that stuff, and it kind of wrecked the music industry pretty good. And, and we had the trading company and stuff, and then I thought, it'd be cool to have something. We don't sell a lot of music. We sell some used vinyl records and stuff like that, but it is based off of the old Criminal Records store. A lot of music shirts, but we do carry, a lot of cryptid stuff in there too, more Mothman stuff, alien stuff. We sell stuff like MRE meals. It's kind of got a military twist to it in there, and it's called Bunker 304, which is the area code for here, but it's the bunkers in the TNT area, so there's a big tie-in with that and everything. And but it's a cool little store. I usually tell everybody everything in that store. I have a large part of my KISS collection in there.
Oh my
all the
gosh,
memorabilia.
it's a museum.
And I tried to put that stuff into the trading company, but my wife did not agree on that. So I always tell everybody, they say, well, what is all this stuff? And I said, it's everything that she wouldn't let me put in the trading company. It went down here. So, and that worked. It worked. So, but, and again, it's just a nice little place you can go in and if you want to, get you some, we have a lot of like retro candy in there. All kinds of cool stuff, weird soft drinks, and a little bit of everything.
Yeah, the Mothman root beer is always on tap, I hear, up there.
Yeah. We have that at the trading company on
trading
tap.
company. Yeah.
Root beer. And that's brewed locally at Mary Family Winery, which is just across the river. Yeah,
that is some good root beer.
That's
if you guys haven't tried it,
good.
Yeah, it really is good. I mean, I like root beer. And you might think once you taste one, you taste them all. You have not. There's just something about that one that's it's delicious, man. It's absolutely delicious.
We never get any complaints on the root beer. Everybody likes it.
No, it's amazing. I've got several things from there. Like I said, every time I come, I almost end up with something. I actually got one of those bags you got in when you got the those military bags in that time. I love those things. That's great.
Yeah, those are cool.
Gear.
We sell a lot of those.
Yeah. There you go. Joe said Mothman root beer, 10 out of 10, chef approved. Yeah, absolutely, bud. I agree. It's amazing stuff. So we've got, all right, well, let's talk about the trading company, because there's another one that gets overlooked sometimes. Although it didn't at this festival. I noticed there was a line to get into the trading company at one point as well.
Yeah, the trading company we Julie and I opened about 3-4 years ago. Just sort of like a general store type. For a lot of the tourists that come, they want the old retro, like I said, the retro candy and just things. It's all about nostalgia. Let's just put it that way. I mean, you come in and you see stuff. I hear people all the time say, "Oh, I had that when I was a kid." I had that toy when I was a kid. I used to eat that taffy when I was a kid, so it just brings back nostalgia, retro, vintage, all those words kind of go together right there. So, but it's,
place.
Yeah. And we used to be across the street and actually where the museum was originally. Then we opened the trading company, or then we moved it right beside the museum and stuff. Matter of fact, we knocked a hole in the wall to the media room, when you come through the media room into the from the museum, there's a window that you can see into the trading company. You can't walk into it, but you can see into it. So it's kind of a nice little, preview. And then a lot of people look in there and they see stuff they walk right over and everything. So we do have a new media room at the museum too. So we built that last year when we were working on the trading company.
Yeah, I mean,
And I
you
went bought
guys.
the biggest TV I could find to put in there.
Yeah, literally, you did. I mean, there's literally part of a restaurant there, a diner that's there, right?
Yeah, we have part of
yeah.
the Harris Steakhouse, which Carolyn
Steakhouse.
Harris,
Yep.
she was one of the original people that helped start that festival. She had the little diner down the street. She passed away about 6 years ago, I think it was, and she would be really, really thrilled, about how big the festival has gotten because she was there. She helped build everything. So we have, when she passed away, they closed the diner, but they gave us the soda fountain, the big section with the soda fountain and everything, and a lot of the equipment and everything. So we have a tribute to her. I wanted to make sure we had that there for people to see, and we have a banner that talks a little bit about it. We actually have some of the uniforms that she wore, in the diner and stuff. So it's pretty cool. We wanted to make sure that people didn't forget about Carolyn Harris and stuff.
I think it's very cool. I mean, it's an actual. It looks like you go back in time for just a little bit.
Yeah. Well, she opened that in 68 or 69.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So it was there for a long time.
That's one of the things about Point Pleasant, Jeff. It's it has that old hometown feel. I think that's why I like the town so much. It just has this hometown feel. It's friendly, like I said. And what's really crazy about it, this is the weird thing, and I do it every time I'm there. It never really, I never really just can adjust to it. To watch how all those people just disappear at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Everything just turns back into
On
this.
Sunday.
Yeah. It's like a transformation.
Yeah. Sunday at 5 o'clock,
It's
6 o'clock,
weird.
you never know there was 20,000 people there walking around.
It's the weirdest thing.
I think a lot of people too are surprised when they come to Point Pleasant and all the history that's actually happened there besides Mothman. I mean, you have like the French and Indian War stuff that happened there, the Revolutionary War stuff, George Washington surveying the area.
The Mothman, a lot of people come for the Mothman stuff, but we direct people to the Farm Museum, to Twin Dewey Park, to Fort Randolph, the River Museum, which is newly opened after, they rebuilt that. So, you can make a day or two easy out of all the stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of it there in downtown is within walking distance. They got the Battle Days is coming up in October. So, and I get what you're saying. I mean, it's not all Mothman, some people come, the kids are into the Mothman stuff, but the family wants to go out to Fort Randolph or Twin Dewey Park. And when we actually do van tours from the museum on weekends and stuff, and that's the first thing that we do is we take them through town and show them where Twin Dewey Park is. We show them where Fort Randolph is, River Museum. We take them up to the TNT area, go to the bunkers, all the landmarks from the Mothman story, and then we show them the Farm Museum. A lot of people don't know about that Farm Museum. I mean, it's pretty cool too. There's all kinds of stuff up there. So, it's there's a lot to do and a lot to see. It's not just a Mothman statue in the Mothman Museum. People come and they spend a day there. They might stay at the Low Hotel if you can get in. I mean, you can't get in during the festival.
Good luck.
They could book that hotel up for the next 10 years.
They said they weren't taking anything, I think, until mid-January, I believe is what it was.
Yeah, but
it'll sell out in seconds.
Yeah, you're sitting right smack dab in the middle of everything, from that, if you're at the Low Hotel, which is really convenient for people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's right there, literally on the street. It's pretty amazing. Also has some history to its own.
Yeah.
Again, this town is full of history, and it's not just Mothman, but I think that we can say that Mothman definitely put her on the map. And
right. Oh yeah. It helped, and we realize that not everybody's a Mothman person or whatever, which is fine. You know, we get people come in the museum, they'll stand there for 2-3 hours. We get some people come in, they'll stay 10 minutes, but they're always polite. You know, they always think, hey, you know, thanks a lot. We enjoyed it. We're not in the business to convince anybody of anything. I mean, we never have been. You know, we just want to give them the archives and the stuff to look at. Mm-hmm. This is what it is. You know, you decide. We're like Fox News. You know, you decide for yourself.
I think you present it very well. Hey, Amber, that's Amber's Paraworld there. You guys, Jeff is here. If you got questions, go ahead and ask. I'm going to open the floor up now for a few questions. Jeff, I know everybody asked you everything about Mothman. We always do that too. Have you ever seen anything odd yourself?
No.
Never?
I mean, people ask me that all the time.
I was just wondering if you'd ever seen anything.
I was 5 years old, like I said, when all that took place. I had a few strange phone calls. I mean, as crank calls, you know, people find out that I'm the guy that has the museum or wrote books. Call me at 3 a.m. and you know.
My gosh, are you serious?
Well, yeah, once in a while.
Wow, that's just funny.
But no, I mean, you know, I've never really had. I've talked to a lot of people, you know, a lot of those original witnesses, and I've always thought that, you know, there's just too many people with the same descriptions and you know, I just don't think there could be that many people that don't know each other that could make up the same story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. We talk about it all the time. It's like, you know, we hear this all the time, especially with a lot of these paranormal phenomena.
There was definitely something that people were seeing. And we don't know exactly, you know, what it was, but there's too many documentations and you know, again, if it was just 2 or 3 people, I think it would be, you know, we wouldn't be here right now.
No, you're
Spooky Appalachia is asked about the moth cam. Yeah, but yeah, the moth cam, you can get on there. Jimmy Smith, he's the expert on that, and he set that up for us there. You get on moth cam anywhere in the world, and you can see all the strange things that happen there at the Mothman statue and stuff.
Well, I mean, and there's some strange stuff. Let's be real. There's definitely some strange stuff that happens out there at the Mothman statue. But what is funny is the amount of, you can click onto that. I'll guarantee you go on it right now. Somebody's standing out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's probably somebody there. Yeah.
It's absolute shout. We shout out to Mothman. Great show tonight. Thank you, Spooky. We just confused Jeff to no end right there, I'm sure. It's an inside joke, but okay. We have fun on this show. This isn't the serious one, so we actually can let our hair down and have some fun here. Speaking of which, I want to thank you guys for allowing me to finally perform at the Mothman Festival. It's not the way that I ever expected in a million years, but thank you. That was quite an honor. Green River Bluegrass were amazing.
Oh yeah, they were. Dude, we're going to have him back next year.
They're awesome.
I never. They just walked up and asked me if they could play, and I'm like,
they were awesome.
So they're going to be back next year.
Yeah, they were great.
I've seen them perform at the Keith Albee quite a bit.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, they come through every few years, it seems like. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They were tight.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. I mean, I don't know if you watched that. At one point when we were up there just kind of dancing around, he was playing that fiddle while he was doing that. I'm like, wow, that's okay. Hats off to you.
He'll be back.
Believe me, that's not easy.
Dude, violins that's the one instrument I can't play.
Yeah, they're a precision instrument. That's for sure.
Cannot play that thing. I have tried and tried and tried. I have one in there in a case, and I'll drag it out every year. And okay, that's done. Where's my guitar? But and you know, that's I don't know. I just thought it was a really good festival. We had a first there, I think you said, which I didn't know. Apparently, Someone used it as a pregnancy announcement this time.
Really?
Yep, yep. There's a picture of it
Yeah.
here somewhere. I don't. Here it is. Yeah, this one. These two.
Mhm.
They came over and
Yeah.
had me hold this little
Oh,
onesie. They're like, "Can you do us a favor? We're gonna do this." I'm like, "Okay, sure." I just figured, well, this is normal. But Jeff said, "No, this has never happened as far as he
We
wow.
knows."
had like wedding or proposals. I think there was a few wedding proposals
Yep.
during the festival. And another thing too, that a lot of people don't realize is there's a lot of groups there to the festival: Ghostbusters,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars,
501st.
that collect money for charities.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Star Wars people said they raised over $2,000 for suicide prevention stuff.
Wow.
Also, down where we had the guest speakers at the Mason County Senior Citizen Center, they passed the hat for donations for the Meals on Wheels
Okay.
Oh.
program they had, and they collected several dollars for that. So, and then the Ghostbusters, they have a charity, and there's a couple other ones I can't remember, but it helps a lot of different people. I mean,
Yeah,
they
that's
take
what
pictures
it's.
with people, and they'll make
Mhm.
donations and things like that. So
That's what it's
that's
all
always
about.
good to hear. Yeah.
Spooky asked, "Did you ever imagine it would get this huge?" And I'm just going to read your mind and say, "There's no way you could imagine it was going to
No,
be this huge."
no,
No.
no. I mean, back in 2002, 2003, the first one, we just threw it together just in a few weeks and said, let's just try. Mainly because the movie had just came out,
Yeah.
and we wanted to see what would happen and stuff. But and then it's been growth every year, which
Mhm.
we're glad that it's been being able to maintain the growth a little bit and stuff. COVID, set us back for a couple years, and
I think
then
we
we
made
come
up for
back.
that.
Yeah, and yeah.
That
So
was that was absolutely amazing to be a part. Last year was just off the charts,
mhm, yeah,
and they always tell me this year they're like, "Oh, it wasn't as big." Well, I don't know about that.
I think it
Uh,
was. Yeah,
I
we
think it
had
was
things
too.
spread out. We
Spread
people
out.
forget we have vendors behind the flood wall, all the way up and
Yep.
down the flood wall.
Yep.
But yeah, I think we had a small growth for this year too, which is fine. We don't want it
I think it was
to get
great.
totally out of hand or anything, but
That's what
um,
we were talking about. I mean, we had time to
judging by
actually.
the traffic and
Yep.
all that kind of stuff, it was every bit of last year, if not a little more.
Mhm. It was
And
spread
here,
out.
another thing too is people are starting to come in on Fridays a lot earlier, and we even had people there on Thursday. So we
What?
have to count that too. We started.
Thursday?
Yeah, there was people there Thursday,
Gosh.
early birds or whatever. But
Wow.
so it's to the point now where we try to set the food vendors up on Thursday instead of Friday because it was just too many
Too
people in
hectic.
town to try to get that done. So we're learning as we go, what to do and what not to do and things like that. But
I see this being a very big festival at some point, is what I see. And it's
yeah,
already a big festival, but
yeah,
I can see this thing growing. And
yeah,
it's heading that way. But it's a wonderful thing right now. You
hmm
guys who haven't been there, you're missing out. That's all I can tell you. It's absolutely an incredible time. It's a magical time. Um, Spooky, what was the question you asked? Joe, can you flag that back up there for us?
I
You had
think it was
asked something.
what's the weirdest thing I've ever seen, or
Yeah, the
the
weirdest,
oddest story that
oddest
happened back
story.
then. Um, I remember the second festival when John Keel came. Okay, and I told you he signed books. It was just
Mm-hmm.
kind of comical and stuff, but I kind of showed him around where he needed to be and all, kind of helped him uh, where he was supposed to be and all that kind of stuff. But he signed books forever, and I remember this one guy had an original copy of the Mothman Prophecies
Oh,
book, and it was just tore to pieces. It was just ragged, but it was the first edition. And I remember the kid came up to me and he said, "John Keel signed my book." And I'm like, really? And he goes, look what he wrote. And it said, I can't remember the kid's name, Timmy or something like that. It said, "Dear Timmy, take better care of your books, John Keel." And I thought that was pretty funny. But he had a weird sense of humor and stuff about the whole thing. But he was always very supportive of the festival and the museum. He liked what we were doing, and never once did I ever hear him make fun of any of those witnesses or poke fun of them. He was, I think he believed what they had to say and everything, but he thought it was good that we were keeping that story alive, and promoting it the way that we were and stuff.
Well, that's another thing, because there are those people out there who say that, oh, well, Keel never really believed it. But here's my thing about that. If he never really believed it, I don't think he would have been a part of it toward the end, because he did get to see it start, right?
And he was very reclusive. I mean, he rarely did any public appearances or interviews, let alone show up to a festival and stay the whole weekend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he genuinely liked Point Pleasant. I mean, he lived in Manhattan and get away from the hustle and bustle of the big city and everything. And, when he came back, it was a reunion with Linda Scarberry and all those witnesses, the people that he had wrote about back in 1966. They were there. We arranged, a meeting with all those people and stuff. And I thought that was pretty cool too. I've got pictures of that somewhere, where he,
wow.
and he remembered them all,
That's so cool. Yeah, that. I mean, that tells you right there, right? Because you would not, if you didn't care, you wouldn't bother remembering, would you?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fact. I was
He
there.
would actually call my house. He would call the house here, and it would show up on the caller ID as a New York call. And I had no clue it was him. I answered the phone. Hey, and we would talk about everything but Mothman. He griped about parking in New York and the cost of groceries in New York and all that. But I just think that it was nice for him to talk to somebody who wasn't just going to constantly grill him about all the Mothman stuff, which I did, from time to time.
Well, it's good that you did, because
he felt a little more comfortable.
Yeah.
Hey, what's the weather like down there and that kind of stuff. Yeah. So, I was lucky enough to be able to at least talk to him some and meet him and things like that. But
absolutely. Caitlin, pop that back up there, please. Thank you. I was there at the festival, such an amazing time, and just want to say you guys made my twin little sister's day. Brought them there for the birthday, and it was the first time they'd ever been. Thank you. And I'm sure you're going to be back next year, right? Say yes. Yeah. You better say yes, because the man's here himself, so you better say yes.
And we try to keep that, kid friendly and everything too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because there are a lot of kids, the kids now that come into the museum and stuff, they look at that Mothman kind of the way I looked at Batman when I was a kid, superhero.
It's a superhero now, Jeff. Yeah, it's a total superhero now.
There's different
hey, Dewey.
Perceptions of Mothman,
Yep. Yeah, for sure. There you go. We got us a lifer right there. There's a new family member, Jeff. 27 watching, 14 likes. Hit the thumbs up button. Yes, Dewey. You tell them. 27 watching, 14 likes. But that's only 27 or 28 or whatever it is on YouTube.
Is that 27,000 or?
Yeah, I wish. Have you shared it out, Jeff? Get it shared out, man. What was it? It doesn't show us the Facebook users count, so we don't know how many are watching from Facebook. But yeah, that's YouTube numbers is what that is. We don't. So let's see. Wow, there's just too many things to even think of as far as this thing goes. But I'm trying to remember some of the most memorable parts of the festival that. And I think it was the kids. I think you were spot on with that when you said it was kid friendly. Not only is it kid friendly, I mean, I've never seen so many kids who wanted to come over and have their picture taken, with the Mothman. It's just like, where else in the world do you get that kind of Disneyland?
Almost like a Mickey Mouse type thing.
Yeah, it's Disneyland. I mean, that's literally what it's like. And for a weekend, you guys create a magical kingdom down there.
I guess so. Yeah, I mean, it
You
seems like it
really do.
now.
You really do. And are
It's
you
a good
guys
time.
doing anything for the Halloween season or anything down there, down at the
No,
museum?
we just, we're open. We have the normal hours and stuff. We
Normal
want to
hours.
get, like I said, the escape room wrapped up and everything, and
That's cool.
get it running smooth. And then the golf, like I said, the golf will be
Yes.
something else. Just from some
Yes.
of the stuff that I've seen that they're sending me pictures of and things like that. So,
The concepts.
um,
Yeah.
come by the museum and spend the day in Point Pleasant. There's some really cool, a lot of cool shops on Main Street. The reason we started the festival back in 2002 was to get people to come to Main Street. Now there's not an empty storefront on Main Street.
No.
They're all full.
No.
That hasn't happened since the 70s, maybe.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Through the 90s and like it was like a ghost town downtown there with as far as retail and things like that,
Mhm.
because you had the Walmart and things, Kmart and all that, and that put a big hit on the mom and pops shops and
Mhm.
everything. So we've tried to get some really cool stores downtown. I mean, I've always envisioned, downtown Point Pleasant could be another Gatlinburg if
Mhm.
the right people invested in those storefronts and buildings.
Mhm.
And you've got Nucor, which is the big steel plant that's coming in, one of the biggest ones in the world, in Mason County. And there's a couple other plants that are wanting to open their doors and stuff. So it's going to change the landscape quite a bit, But tourism has been really good to Point Pleasant and stuff. And I tell people, I said, not every small town has a calling card like, I mean, Flatwoods, you got the Flatwoods Monster. That's been good to them.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff. Yeah. Mentioned What's the Scoop ice cream shop. And, they've, they're a new business. Well, they're not new. They used to be on the other end of the Main Street, but they moved down. They're right by the statue.
Yeah.
So
They
you
used
can
to be
ice
right
cream
behind.
see Mothman statue and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, they're in a great place now. They used to be right behind us, where our tent is.
Yeah.
Is where they were. Yeah, right in that area.
Mhm.
Now we're directly across from the Mexican restaurant, and oh
Right.
my
You got a nice
God,
Mexican restaurant. I know.
I
They're
tried it
busy
for the
all the
first time.
time. Yeah.
I'm coming down there just to eat there.
And the
just to let you
hamburgers,
know.
First and Main Hamburgers was right
Yeah.
there close
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah.
You've got the Ichibon or whatever on down the street. So yeah, within walking distance, you got the coffee grinder, which the line for the coffee grinder was horrendous during that festival. But
I can
people
imagine.
like the coffee,
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I know Maria had went to get coffee at one point, and she said, "Nope, I'm good." And
Yeah.
we had something else.
Get a root beer instead of
Yeah.
coffee.
Yeah, I think we just got in the cooler and got whatever we had. But we learned this
Yeah.
year. We took stuff with us.
Yeah.
What was it? I overheard some guy talking at the festival saying how Point Pleasant could have been a huge city. Well, I'm glad it isn't a huge city.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's what.
it's a nice sized town to accommodate, people and the way it is now. But
Yeah. Hey, how
I
many
like
people is there, Jeff? That's a good question. Like
5,000-6,000.
about 5, 6. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we triple it at least during the festival.
That's crazy, man.
No.
That's so awesome, though. But it's a small town, and I think that's what gives it its. Like I said,
Yeah.
that's the charm.
You have to
Small town
realize
charm.
too, a lot of people come from all over the country, the world. New York City, Chicago, Los Angeles. They are not used to people saying hello to them.
That's right.
I talked to somebody from New York. They said in New York, you just walk and you look straight ahead. You don't make eye contact. You don't really talk to anybody. And they couldn't believe that people here would speak to them on the street,
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Mhm.
Ada Cox, bless you. Thank you for that super stick. I know you think we'd have a Mothman one, but I haven't made it yet.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't have a chance to make it yet. Uh, we're gonna actually do a little thing later on. We always do this thing called Ask Ovilus, and it's a fun little gimmick that we do. Tonight we're gonna do Ask the Mothman. Angie says that coffee is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to come
That's
down and
actually where
try it.
Criminal Records used to be, is where the coffee
Is
grinder
it?
is now.
Okay.
That was what
Okay.
the store was, yeah.
Okay. You had mentioned something about what was it the restaurant that the kids went to originally after they saw the sighting?
Yeah.
That restaurant's
Mhm.
still there, right?
It's Village Pizza now.
It's Billy Pizza. Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Tiny's
Village Pizza.
Drive-In, the original location, they actually started tearing it down and made a parking lot for Village Pizza.
Okay.
So back
Okay.
in '66, that was Tiny's Drive-In, and my cousin actually bought that building in '72 and started Village Pizza, and then he sold it to the. There's been several owners since, but they've kept a lot of the original recipes and stuff. So, but yeah, Tiny's Drive-In was the Sonic of the '60s here in Point Pleasant, and I go to a lot of the cruise-ins that we
Yeah.
have locally, and a lot of those guys are older than me. They're some of those original witnesses' ages and stuff, and I talk to them all the time. They tell me, they say, we were in that parking lot when they pulled in,
Wow.
and they said, we'd never seen them, act as
Yeah.
scared as they were. And
Oh, yeah,
not one of them has ever told me, said, yeah, they were just goofing around trying to get attention. One in particular told me he was friends with Roger and stuff. And he said, now Roger he was a prankster in school, but he said he wasn't joking that night. When they
Yeah.
pulled in, he said we thought there'd been maybe an accident or something, that, said they were shook up. And to hear Gary Northup tell me that, he told me, he said, I called the sheriff's department because they didn't want me to, but he said, I called them, and a lot of them worked for him. Linda worked for him, Mary worked for him, and I think maybe Roger did. He hired a lot of the local kids to work for him in the restaurant and stuff. So they started tearing that down this summer, and I seen them demolishing it, and I stopped and got out and got a couple of bricks, and I took one and gave it to Gary Northup.
Oh,
And he got
that's
really
cool.
emotional. He really did. He got emotional
bet.
about it.
I'll bet.
Because he said that was just a really, really good time in his life, when he had that restaurant and stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool,
That is but that's what you do. You have managed to do this, and I'm telling you that's why you're part of our family, because you go out and you try to catch these legends before they're gone, and that's
Yeah.
important. And we tell people this from day one. Everyone's got these stories. Someone knows someone who saw something at some point,
Right.
and
But they're getting older. If this happened in '66, those
They
people, and I tell people that second book that I did, Behind the Red Eyes, I
Behind the
would
Red
say
Eyes.
half of the people that I interviewed in that book have passed away.
And that's
Because
insane.
if they were in their 30s
Yeah.
or even their 20s, they're in their 70s and 80s now. So
Yeah, man, time does not stand still.
people don't realize that was a what all was going on at that time. You had Vietnam was right in full force in '66. The Beatles, were your biggest band and things like that. So
Yeah, man. I mean, that's the whole point. You've got so much history.
Yeah.
And every time one of them goes, we're losing it.
Yeah. Well, I when I did the interviews and stuff, I recorded them.
Oh,
I have the audio recordings of all those interviews and stuff.
That's so awesome.
Because all my books is just a transcript of what they told me.
I think that's why
I'm
I
not
like your
a
books.
fiction writer, or I'm not adding anything or embellishing anything.
Nope.
What they told me in those sit-down interviews is what directly went right into the book.
That would
Yeah,
make a
those
really
books.
cool audio book.
Dude, those books are amazing. If you don't
Well, they've
have
used
one,
the audio on Seth Breedlove used some of the audio on some of the stuff. So.
Nancy gets a salute, Joseph. Fire her up, the Sky Daddy, for her. maybe. All right. One day we'll explain all that to Jeff, and he won't think
Okay.
we're as crazy as we actually are.
No,
No,
I've seen a lot of crazy stuff, and doesn't
it's a
bother
little
me.
it's a little gimmick that one of our guys came up with on our, I think it was our first show actually, and there's about maybe 12 of us who were here, and it stayed with us from day one. Every time somebody does something cool or donates to us, we do that. So it's a lot of fun, but I think for me, like I said, I just look forward to this festival every year, and not so much just the festival. I know sometimes when we're out, I'm just like, hey, you want to go down Point Pleasant?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
It's a nice little day trip. I mean,
it's fun. The
people
antique
like to
shop,
come and, yeah,
dude. The antique shop. I've gotten so
mason
much
jar.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've gotten so
There's
much
there's
stuff.
another one up the road. New to You is another one. A lot of people don't see it, but it's just
No.
up the road past the Dollar General there on the left.
Oh,
I bought
really?
a lot of stuff there. Yeah,
Oh, I'll have to go in there.
yeah. He's got so much stuff in there you can't even walk.
Oh, I
You
love
know,
that.
it's pretty cool.
That's the kind I like. I like the kind you got to actually look for stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. You'd never be able to go through all the stuff he's got in there.
Oh, that's awesome.
He has
Oh,
he
yeah.
has other buildings full of stuff. So
Oh my
it's called
gosh.
New to You.
Gosh.
New to You. Okay, I'm
Mhm.
gonna have to definitely hit that.
Yeah,
There's a
Mothman car wash too.
car wash. Yeah, there's a car wash. There's a themed gym down there. I'll tell you what it reminds me of. And it was I was there on the 50th anniversary when the Roswell
Mhm.
incident, and that's kind of what it reminds me of. It's like it's happening now. The town is starting to
Well,
embrace
yeah, I
it.
mean, and it's good that they're jumping on board. You got the
Yeah.
Mothman pizza, you got a Mothman burrito, you've got the Mothman ice cream. You know, everybody, you know. So
What's this? Pretty sure the top floor of the trading store at Point Pleasant is haunted. Super creepy up there. Caitlin.
I don't know
Ah,
how they would have been up there because that's not open to the public
that's maybe I'm not sure. Maybe some
unless
remote
they broke
viewing
in
going
or
on.
something. I don't know.
I'm not sure. Maybe you might. I don't know. Might not want to say that. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, we were in there one night about 2 o'clock and picked the lock and went in. So
oh.
no, I'm up there all the time.
What's funny is we talked about this before too. Like on the I think it was in the game. Um, they have the museum. The museum's a huge part of Fallout
Yeah.
76, and
Mhm.
the Mothman is a massive legend in Fallout 76 now. But it has a different floor in it, doesn't it? Do you have people who come in and try to like find,
Yeah, we've had
so,
people come in and stuff, and what's odd about the whole Fallout game developing of the game was I had a kid come up to me in class one day and showed me a screenshot of the map before the game was ever released, and it had the Mothman Museum on the map. They had never approached me. I never talked to anybody at Bethesda.
oh, really?
No. And I thought, well, what is this a big deal? And he's like, yeah, this is a big deal. So finally I contacted them and talked to them about, different things and stuff. But they had to have been in the museum researching
Mm-hmm.
and taking pictures and all this way before that game was developed, because there's too many coincidental things in the game, which I've never played the game. I think the last game I played was Palm.
Oh
In
my gosh.
1977. Yeah. No. But so that's what happened with that game. People come in and say, oh, there's a guy named Jeff that lives in the apartment above the museum. And I thought that was just kind of coincidental, or maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe not.
But I had a guy came up to me at the festival that's writing a book and about the whole Fallout game and how the sites like Flatwoods and Point Pleasant and all that, how close they are to the game and things like that. But he was pretty interesting to talk to. and I answered a few questions for him and stuff.
They actually, I think, for 4 years before that game
Mhm.
was released, is what they came out and said that they had been
Yeah,
scouting the area. So
but
yeah, they
I
were
never
definitely
knew
there.
who
I
they
did not
were.
know that.
Yeah, they
Yeah, I
never
didn't
told
know
me.
that.
It's odd,
Wow,
but it
it's
worked out
very
good for us. So
worked
yeah,
out great for you guys.
yeah,
You know
it
that
was a lot. You couldn't pay for that kind of advertising.
no that, and I think you know this is another thing. It's like it's it's almost like some kind of divine intervention. It's not, but I'm just saying, well, maybe it is. I don't know. But something just said, you know, go to this little town, help this
Hmm.
little town, and you
Yeah,
can't roll dice and get that. You know what I'm saying? This is just, it's amazing what has happened here.
yeah. I think the planets kind of lined up
Yeah,
for the whole, the museum and the
yeah,
festival. We were just in the right place at the right
it's the
time.
right time.
You
Yeah,
know,
and that's all it
I
takes,
mean,
man. That's
I was in the music. I still am in the music business, but playing in bands, and you look at these bands that just just missed it, just
yeah,
missed it. I mean, and there were great bands, and the bands that just went just huge worldwide, that just happened to be in that little time frame
yeah,
where there were actually record labels, and
yep,
you know what I mean.
yeah. I know
You
exactly
get
what you mean.
studio time and big bonuses and big tours, and now it's totally different.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
You don't have
yeah.
that now.
No, no. Back then, you actually had to have something called talent, Jeff, and you
Right.
had to actually get out there and do something called, you know, actual hard work, and
Yeah.
and it is work in those, you know, playing those little gigs in those bars at night after night. I remember playing to 4 o'clock in the morning and coming home, and
Oh yeah.
you
I
just
did.
don't. Yeah, you did. You
I don't
know.
miss it. I don't
Nope.
miss it.
I don't miss that part at all. I miss the people, but I don't miss the. I definitely don't miss you know the breaking down in the morning and you
No.
know hauling all that stuff out of there.
No.
But
No. I usually
yeah,
pass that along to somebody else, but no.
oh my God. Well, see, when it came to
What
setups,
roadies are for. I
I couldn't do that with my setup. Like the
know.
keyboard rig, they were you
Yeah.
know it's got to be done just the so way, and I had to have it just this way. And my guitar guy, he was the same way. He's like, I gotta have
Mhm.
this way. I'm like, well, we'll ever have anybody set our stuff up, ever.
Yeah.
So,
It was
you
fun.
know,
It was
it was fun. It was absolutely fun. But you know what's amazing, Jeff, is you know, you're talking about those big shows. You know, these big, you know, sold out concerts. You know,
fun.
of 20,000 people. You did it. You just did it in a different
Yeah,
way.
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, we kind of look at it that way.
I mean, I would totally look at it that way. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
it's just an amazing accomplishment, and
yeah.
you're incredibly fortunate and incredibly lucky individual. That's all I can say. And we are all
Well,
the
and
same.
again, we have a lot of help.
Yeah,
Um, we have a lot of help,
yeah,
and
yeah.
my daughter Ashley, and
Oh my goodness, yes.
son-in-law Dusty, and my wife Julie, and all the crew at the museum and the stores, and
And you're bringing your grandson in now, right? He's going to be.
yeah,
He's going to be.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. He's into the Mothman stuff now. So
that's
now,
good.
whether or not 10, 15, 20 years from now he'll still be with it, who knows? I mean, but
Oh, I got a feeling.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I think Seth named his movie the right thing, The Legacy. It really is a legacy,
yeah,
and it
yeah.
really is a legacy. And I couldn't think of anything better for that little town, honestly. And like I said, man, I swear to goodness, it's just like it, it's a. If I had a choice, there are two places I would live, and that's one of them. It's
Oh,
it's
okay. Well,
it's
you
that
may
it's
sooner or
that
later. You
cool.
never know.
You never know. I mean,
Yeah.
I know you. Jeff
I
works in
mean,
mysterious ways. I know.
yeah, you never know. Steve Ward, we told him the same thing, and here he
Steve
is.
Ward. Steve.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. Guys,
Mhm.
let's see if you got any more questions out there. Because Mr. Wamsley, I don't know how long you have with us. I'm just thankful you came on,
Okay, I
and
appreciate you asking me
you
to
know
come on.
I'm so happy that you. I mean, I really didn't think you would do it because I thought you'd be too busy, especially after the
No,
festival. You know, it's you know, if you're like me, it's probably like wow, and you hate for it to be over, but you also pretty happy. That
Yeah,
you're
it's
free.
usually a good sigh of relief there. Just making sure everything went smooth. And I think we had a
Right.
couple fender benders on the bridge there, but
To be
you know,
expected. Yeah.
yeah, with that many people,
That many
you,
people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you just can't. I mean, that's going to happen.
yeah.
But like I said, I think everybody had a great time. We all look forward
Oh
to
yeah,
going
yeah.
back. But folks, don't ask them when they're going to, put out applications. They'll put them out later in the year. That they're not doing it right now. Just to be clear on that.
Yeah,
Sometimes
yeah,
in
we'll
March,
adjust
isn't it?
that, after the first of the
Yeah,
year and stuff.
yeah.
And
It's usually
yeah,
like late. It's usually like March or something. I think I can't remember, but either way. And don't get discouraged. Put your applications in. I mean, you
yeah.
never know
And
what's
if
going to
if you're
happen.
not a vendor, at least come to the festival and
Yes.
we may even venture into a couple other events during the year. I mean, people said, well, why don't you have some other events? I mean, this one pretty much zaps our energy and stuff.
Oh yeah. There's the Hodag store right there. Point Pleasant was gifted a special creature, Legends. Its ability to fascinate and intrigue branding companies would pay millions of dollars for.
Oh
The
yeah.
community is lucky to have it and deserves celebrating. Yes,
Yeah.
this right here. Yes, that is correct. And that's from old buddy Hodag. If you guys don't know, Hodag and Mothman, well, they're buds. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if y'all know that or not, but they are. They really are. They're down there. There you go. See, there you go. But no, man, I think you're onto something. I really do. And
Okay.
like I said, you know what I think we need to do? We need to put you on stage, right? And
Mhm.
I can play with you, and we'll just call it Moth Jam. That's what we're gonna do. And
Yeah, we'll have to do something like that. Yeah,
Moth Jam 24s, baby. That's it right
crank,
there. I can see
crank
those
up the
lights.
Marshalls and
That's what we're doing.
go at it. Yeah.
I'm there.
I would,
Marshalls.
I've had told people, since I retired from teaching and stuff, I do plan on going back in the studio and doing
Oh my
maybe a
gosh.
guitar oriented type album. That's I'd like to do that.
Well,
Because
when you get it
we
done,
did
let us
we did
know.
cut a couple albums back in the day, and I missed that. So
It's
I'd
so
like to get
much
back in
easier
there.
now, Jeff. It's so much
Mhm.
easier now.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, I know. I could probably come to your house. You could record that one album we did in Cleveland. It took us a year
I
to
know.
record, and it
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
expensive. It was not cheap. So
Yeah, man.
I
And
might
now
come to
you
your house
can.
and bring my stuff.
It's literally that easy now too. And Joe still can play, I think. So there you go. We got
Hmm.
rhythm guitars. Well, I don't know. We have to find a lead guitar. I usually don't play lead,
Studio
but
musicians. Yeah,
studio musicians. There you go. I know
yeah,
some guys. There it is,
yeah.
man. Moth Jam.
Cool.
That's it. We're doing it. You put that on your calendar. You can do that.
All
I
right,
give you
I'll
I give
do
you
that.
permission. Brother, I want to thank you so much for being here.
Okay,
Um,
I appreciate it.
you're
Appreciate
welcome
it.
here anytime. By the way,
I'll try to
I
get back on here and stuff, and
yeah,
I'm sure I'll be in touch with you and stuff.
we
So
do a Mothman special on an anniversary.
okay,
And
yeah, plan. I'll
so
be on there for that. Just tell me, and I'll be
So
on.
yeah, I'd like to get both you and Steve. That'd be awesome. That'd be a good
Okay,
time to bring old Steve O on. So that would be really cool to do. I'll
all
see you
right,
in a couple of weeks though. Either way, because I'm going to come down and visit, Point Pleasant and see how things are looking down there after
okay,
it's cleared out.
all right.
So
Sounds
thank you, my
good.
friend. I will see
All
you
right,
soon.
we'll see you.
All right, Jeff. All new episodes return again next Friday. Until then, have a mothy day and stay wild and weird, everyone.